Dinosaurs Before Dawn by Mary Pope Osborne. Illustrated by Sal Mordecai. Help! A monster! Said Annie. Yes, sure, said Jack. A real monster in Frog Creek, Pennsylvania. Run, Jack! Said Annie. She went up the road. Oh, brother, this is what he got for spending time with his 7-year-old sister. Annie got pretty stuff, but Jack was 8.5. He liked real things. Watch out, Jack! The monster's coming! Race you! No thanks, said Jack. Annie walked alone into the woods. Jack looked at the sky. The sun was about to set. Come on, Annie. It's time to go home. But Annie had disappeared. Jack waited. No Annie. Annie! He shouted again. Jack! Jack! Come here! Jack groaned. This better be good, he said. Jack left the road and headed into the woods. The trees were lit with a golden late afternoon light. Come here, called Annie. And she was, standing under a tall oak tree. Whoa, she said. She was pointing at the rope ladder, the largest rope ladder Jack had ever seen. Wow, he whispered. The ladder went all the way to the top of the tree. There, at the top, was a tree house. It was tucked between two branches. That must be the highest tree house in the world, said Annie. Who built it, said Jack. I've never seen it before. I don't know, but I'm going up, said Annie. No, we don't know who it belongs to, said Jack. Just for a teeny minute, said Annie. She started out the ladder. Annie, come back. She kept climbing. Jack sighed. Annie, it's almost dark. We have to go home. Annie disappeared inside the treehouse. Annie! Jack waited a moment. He was about to call again when Annie poked her head out of the treehouse. Books. Books! She said. What? It's filled with books. Oh, man, Jack loved books. He pushed his glasses into place. He gripped the sides of the rope ladder, and up he went. Jack crawled through a hole in the treehouse floor. Wow, the treehouse was filled with books. Books everywhere. Very old books with dusty covers. New books with shiny bright covers. Look, you can see far, far away, said Annie. She was peering out the treehouse window. Jack looked at the window with her. Down below were the tops of the other trees. In the distance, he saw the Frog Creek Library, the unfinished school, the park, and he pointed in the other directions. There's our house, she said. Sure enough, there was their white wooden house with the green porch. Next door was their neighbor's black dog, Henry. He looks very tiny. Hi, Annie, shouted Annie. Shush, said Jack. We're not supposed to be in here. He glanced around the treehouse again. I wonder who owns all these books, he said. He noticed his bookmarks were sticking out of many of them. I like this one, said Annie. She held out a book with a castle on the cover. Here's a book about Pennsylvania, said Jack. He turned to the page with the bookmark. Hey, there's a picture of Frog Creek in here, said Jack. It's a picture of these wolves. Oh, here's a book for you, said Annie. She held up a book about dinosaurs. A blue silk bookmark was sticking out of it. Let me see it, Jack said. Down his backpack, he grabbed the book from her. You look at that one, and I look at the one about castles, said Annie. No, we better not, said Jack. We don't know who these belongs to. But even as he said this, Jack opened a dinosaur book to where the bookmark was. He couldn't help himself. He turned a picture of an absent flying reptile, a parasite. He touched the huge bat-like wings. Wow, whispered Jack. I wish I could see a picture for real. Jack studied the picture of the old-looking creature soaring through the sky. Ah! Screamed Annie. What? Said Jack. A monster! Annie cried. She pointed to the treehouse window. Stop pretending, Annie, said Jack. No, really, said Annie. Jack looked at the window. A giant critter was grinning above the treetops. He had a long rear crest on the back of his head, a skinny beak, a huge bag-like wings. It was a real-like panda. The creature coursed through the sky. He was coming straight towards the treehouse. He looked like a glitter plant. The wind began to blow. The leaves trembled, soaring the creature's shoulder high into the sky. Jack nearly fell out the window trying to see it. The wind picked up. It was whistling now. The treehouse started to spin. What's happening? Cried Jack. Get down! Shouted Annie. She pulled him back from the window. The treehouse was spinning faster and faster. Jack squeezed his eyes shut. He held on to Annie. Then everything was still, absolutely still. Jack opened his eyes. Sunlight slanted toward the window. There was Annie, the books, his backpack, and treehouse was still high up in an oak tree. But it wasn't the same oak tree. Jack looked at the window. He looked down at the picture in the book. He looked back out the window. The word outside and the word in the picture, they were actually the same. The fairy tale was soaring through the sky. The ground was covered with ferns and tall grass. There was a windy stream, a sloping hill, and volcanoes in the distance. Where are we? Stammered Jack. The fairy grinning down to the base of their tree. The critter caused its top to a stop and stood very still. What happened to us? Said Annie. She looked at Jack. He looked at her. I don't know, said Jack. I was looking at the picture in the book, and you said, wow, I wish I could see a picture for real, said Annie. Yeah, and then we saw one in the Frog Creek Woods, said Jack. Yeah, and then the wind got loud and the treehouse started spinning, said Annie. And we landed here, said Jack. And we landed here, said Annie. So that means, said Jack. So that means what? Said Annie. Nothing, said Jack. He shook his head. None of this can be real. Annie looked at the window again. But he's real, she said. He's very real. Jack looked at the window with her. The fairy was standing at the base of the oak tree like a girl. His giant wings were spread out on either side of him. Hi! Annie shouted. Shush, said Jack. We're not supposed to be here. But where is here? Said Annie. I don't know, said Jack. Annie called again to the creature. The fairy looked up at them. Where is here? Annie called down. You're nuts. He can't talk, said Jack. But maybe the book can tell us. Jack looked down at the book. He read the words on the picture. This flying reptile lived in the creature period. It was 65 million years ago. No, impossible. They couldn't have landed in a time 65 million years ago. Jack, said Annie. He's nice. Nice? Yeah, I can tell. Let's go down and talk to him. Talk to him? And he started down the road. Hey! Hey! Shouted Jack. But Annie kept going. Are you crazy? Jack called. Annie dropped to the ground. She stepped boldly out to the innocent creature. Jack gasps as Annie held out her hand. Oh, brother, she was always trying to make friends with animals, but it was going too far. Don't get too close to him, Annie, Jack shouted. But Annie touched the bear's crest. She stroked his neck. She was talking to him. What in the world was she saying? Jack took a deep breath. Okay, he would go down too. It would be good to extract the creature. Take notes like a assistant. Jack started down the rope ladder. When he got to the top ground, Jack was only a few feet away from the creature. Mm-hmm. The creature stared at Jack. His eyes were bright and alert. He's soft, Jack, said Annie. He feels like Harry. Jack snorted. He's no dog, Annie. Feel him, Jack, said Annie. Jack didn't move. Don't think, Jack. Just do it. Jack stepped forward. He put out his arm very gently. He brushed his hand down the creature's neck. Interesting, a dangling of fuzz covered the frizzy skin. Soft, huh? Said Annie. Jack reached into his backpack and pulled out a pencil and a notebook. He wrote, Fuzzy Skin. What are you doing? Asked Annie. Taking notes, said Jack. We're probably the first people in the whole world to ever see a real lip parody. Jack looked at the parrot dog again. The creature had a bony crest on top of its head. The crest was longer than Jack's arm. I wonder how smart he is, Jack said. Very smart, said Annie. Don't count on it, said Jack. His brain's probably no bigger than a bean. No, he's very smart. I can feel it, said Annie. I'm going to call him Harry. Jack wrote his notebook, Small Brain. What in the world is that? Jack looked at the creature again. Maybe he's a mutant, he said. The creature tied his hand and he laughed. He's no mutant, Jack. Well, what's he doing here then? Where's this place? Said Jack. And he leaned close to Parody. Do you know where we are, Harry? She asked. Do you know where we are, Harry? She asked softly. The creature fixed his eyes on Annie. His long jaws were open and closing like a giant pair of scissors. Are you trying to talk to me, Harry? Asked Annie. Forget it, Annie. Jack wrote in his notebook, mouth like scissors. Did we come to our town long ago, Harry? Asked Annie. It's this place from long ago. So she gasped, Jack! He looked up. Annie was pointing towards the hill on top of storage, a huge dinosaur.
Say to be continued. Say to be continued.
To be continued.